Hi, this is Chief Education Officer Bill Olson, and welcome to another school district update. Well, we are now approaching the end of a very, very long budget season. We begin the budget process in October of each year, and it doesn't end until after the election. This year, it's April 8th. It's been a long, long journey. And I know that there are people who support our budget request, and there are people who, for various reasons, cannot support our budget request. And we understand that, and respect the fact that, as we heard at town meeting, there were a lot of supporters of our school district and the budget that we have proposed. But we also heard very intently those people who said, we can't afford it. And we understand and respect that. Just please know that when we develop a school department budget, we don't develop it from the perspective of, let's see how much money we can spend. We take a very long, careful look at what are we doing well at the present time, where are the needs of our students as demonstrated on the performance on standardized tests and the state assessment score, teacher recommendations and anecdotal records. All of those sources of data are very, very important to us. Every child is different, which essentially makes them all the same. They're all different. Think about it for a second. They're all different, which makes them all the same, since they are all different. The challenge every year, not only in Merrimack, but every school district across the country, is to try and meet the academic and other developmental needs of students to the greatest extent possible, with the understanding that money is not unlimited. And we're very, very much aware of that. We try and put together a budget that is very responsive to the students' needs and hopefully responsible to the needs of taxpayers. And yes, that will always be under interpretation, but know that we try to spend money wisely and provide you, parents and community members, all of whom are taxpayers, with the best return possible for your dollar invested in our school district. We understand that education is a long-term investment. It's difficult to look at it that way if you're struggling. And as I said before, we understand that. We're trying to be as careful as possible with what we budget and what we budget it for. So we want to thank everyone at the deliberative session who voted in favor of our budget. And we understand and respect any of you who did not vote for the budget because you felt you could not. That plays out in every community across America, and I understand that. We go on to the election now. The election is April 8th, and I encourage you to participate as a resident of Merrimack. If you're a registered voter, please get out to vote. It's very important that you express your opinion, and we look forward to seeing you at the polls. I hope it's a very busy day at the polls. And we want to thank all of the election workers for all of the work that they are putting into it and will put into it on Election Day, which is April 8th. I'm filming this as we approach the middle of March. And this is the time of year where we always begin to think and parents begin to ask, when is the last day of school this year? Knowing that we basically have gone through almost 7 months of the 10-month school year. Well, it's a little bit too early. I don't mean to procrastinate, but as you know, oftentimes in New England, we have those heartbreak snowstorms of a foot or a foot and a half in New England, and perhaps a no school day. I remember probably about 8 or 9 years ago when I was working in another district, we had 3 no school days in March because of large snowstorms towards the latter part of the month. And yes, it melts quickly, more quickly with the more direct heating rays of the sun, and the warmer temperatures, but it's a little bit early to determine what the last day of school will be. See, the requirement in the state is that we have students in school for 180 days, but there is also an instructional hours requirement, also in an alternative that sometimes impacts the decision of when the last day of school is. The requirements of the state are for students in kindergarten to have 450 instructional hours. At the elementary, 945 instructional hours. And for students at the middle school and high school, 990 instructional hours. And so what I do each year is I calculate the number of days that students have been in session, the number of hours, full number of hours that they have been in classroom activities, calculating in early release days, the number of any hours subtracted for early release days, etc. And so it's a little bit of a complicated process, but it has to be done with honesty and integrity. That's what we attempt to do every year if we're looking at calculating the number of hours of instruction and how does that impact the last day of school. So to make a long story a little bit longer, I'm going to ask you to just be a little bit patient. I'm going to explain this to the school board at an upcoming school board meeting that it will take us a little bit of time to determine, and a little bit later into March, before we can determine with a little bit more certainty what the last day of school for this school year might be. And it's hard to believe that we're even talking about that because the year, I think each year goes by more and more quickly. Well, we've had a lot of news, a lot of activity going on with our students and our staff at every grade level. At the elementary level, I want to thank the RFS community for completing the Kids Heart Challenge, where they have been taught about healthy heart habits. Working with the staff and the community, they have raised over $4,000 at Reed's Ferry to contribute to the American Heart Association. Terrific students, terrific staff, terrific parents and community members engaged in wonderful, civic, responsible activities. Thornton's Ferry, coming up, is a very popular bingo night that the parent and teacher organization has arranged for a community building purpose, because schools are communities and very, very important communities. We want to engage parents with as much interaction with our schools as we possibly can. So lots of things going on at the elementary level, at the middle school level. Becky Thompson, who works with our students not only during the school day in a counseling perspective, but also as a drama club advisor, has informed me that the middle school has a spring musical, Firebringer, that will be presented on March 28th and 29th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. So we hope everyone will have an opportunity to take a look at that wonderful performance. Teacher Erin Gregoire has worked with her students to work on a literacy project that involves developing materials and information for the animal shelter in Manchester. The importance of this is that it involves literacy skills, but it also involves community service, which is extraordinarily important. The students in Mrs. Gregoire's class went about developing a description of each pet in the Manchester Animal Shelter that is up or available for adoption, something very important. They also, in addition to developing detailed descriptions of the pet, did a sketch of the pet, and the animal shelter has posted all of that material on their webpage, their Facebook webpage. So I want to thank Mrs. Gregoire and her class for doing that very, very important project, which is literacy-based, very much so, but also has a great community service aspect to it. Instrumental teacher at the middle school, Holly Levine. I think everyone knows Holly. On March 10th, which is we're filming this just past March 10th, 10 students at the middle school and 1 student at the upper elementary school participated in the New Hampshire Band Director Association Honor Band Festival. And I'm going to read those names to you because these students are some of the best musicians in New Hampshire. And I want to congratulate, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of your names, Ryan Levine, Grace Massey, Ben Mastra Mateo, Sarah McDowell, Bryn Michalozek, Maggie Pittman, Ellie Ricks, Jewel Sogianto, Nolan Tanzi, Abby Tedisco, and Ben Weldon. Congratulations on being considered, for your age level, some of the best musicians in all of New Hampshire. That is an absolutely outstanding accomplishment. As we move on to the high school, Ron Beck, who is a vocal and general music teacher, and I think once again everybody knows Ron. March is Music in Our Schools Month, and Ron has provided me with a list of activities. Here, I'm going to read them to you quickly. The Clark Terry Jazz Festival happens Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, March 15th, 9 o'clock in the morning at UNH. Celebration of Song, which is the grade 3 to 12 District Chorus Concert, takes place on Tuesday, March 18th at 6:30 p.m. And Ron knows about the weather possibilities in March. He has a snow date of March 20th for the Celebration of Song. And that is once again at 6:30 at the high school. New Hampshire Music Educators Lodge Group Festival will take place on Saturday, March 22nd. The band will be at 10 a.m. and the choir at 12 p.m. That takes place, both those activities, at Bow High School. And the Cavalcade of Bands, grade 5 through 12 District Band Concert, will take place Saturday, March 22nd. Oh, I already mentioned that, at Bow. The Cavalcade of Bands, grades 5 through 12, will take place on Wednesday, March 26th. Once again, let me repeat that because I don't mean to confuse you. The Cavalcade of Bands in grade 5 through 12, which is a district band concert, will take place on Wednesday, March 26th at 6:30 p.m. at Merrimack High School. And the New Hampshire Music Educators Association All-State Band, Orchestra, and Choir will take place on Saturday, April 5th. The band and orchestra competition will be at 11 a.m., choir at 3:30 p.m. It is to the Capitol Center for the Arts in Concord, New Hampshire. We're very proud of our music program. I think we have one of the best music programs of any school district in the state of New Hampshire. I want to thank our staff for their untiring work and our students for their dedication to their craft of being great musicians or choral performers. It's very, very important. Continuing on to high school news. Tammy Lambro has 125 students who are taking various courses with her in marketing, introduction to business, and principles of management. And those 125 students are earning college credit through Nashua Community College, an outstanding program. The students have an opportunity to earn college credits because of the partnership between Merrimack High School and Nashua Community College. Speaking of Nashua Community College, I happen to be a big advocate of any community college. And I've always said to parents, if your child is unsure of what they'd like to do in the future, where they'd like to go to college, knowing that they would like to go, but just not sure what they'd like to major in, a community college education for 2 years is an outstanding option. Because in those community colleges, oftentimes courses are taught with about as much rigor as you'll find in a four-year college, or as much rigor. I've taught in the community college system for many, many, many years. And it is one of the best values in higher education in this nation. I had two students, probably 20 to 25 years ago now, who were students of mine in an economics class at Middlesex Community College in Massachusetts. They got the degree from Middlesex, went on to Boston University, got a degree in business administration, probably saved, even 20 years ago, $60,000 or $70,000 in doing that. So if you'd like to talk about a community college from time to time, either contact the guidance department, or if you'd like to speak with me, because I've taught at the community college level for many years, and I have great respect for students at the community colleges. So always be glad to share information with you. Continuing along at the high school, Joe Fliss, who is a Merrimack High School English teacher. His National Honor Society students have had a food drive, and they've contributed that food to the Webster House in Manchester. The Webster House, for those of you who may or may not know, is a shelter for students between the age of 8 and 18 who sometimes need to be moved out of their house for safety reasons, for security reasons. So I want to thank Joe and the NHS students for doing a very honorable thing of raising food, having food contributions, and contributing those to the Webster House. A very honorable activity. Well, each year I talk to you about the Granite State Challenge. Some of the most talented students across New Hampshire participate in this challenge. This is the 43rd year of the Granite State Challenge. This is Merrimack's 12th year in a row, which they are one of the top 14 teams in New Hampshire. And here's where I have to thank chemistry teacher, Dr. Sarah Campbell, one of the very best teachers in the country, who works tirelessly with other staff in working with our students and preparing them for the Granite State Challenge competition. Tomorrow night, this is being filmed on March 12th. Tomorrow night, March 13th, if this video is available in time, the first competition of Merrimack with Winnisquam High School takes place. It's on public broadcasting in New Hampshire at 8:30 p.m. Hope you'll watch. I'll be watching. We wish our students well. We wish Dr. Campbell and advisors well. We've got a fairly new team. About 3/4 of the veterans who are on prior teams have graduated and on to college, and so it's a relatively new team, but I know, absolutely know, they'll be very, very thoroughly prepared by Dr. Campbell and her assistants. So thank you to everyone. Good luck to them. Finally, I want to thank our Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Amy Doyle, and the Professional Development Committee for the extraordinarily busy and productive Professional Development Day that took place yesterday, March 11th. The full day PD days and the early release days are all carefully planned by Amy Doyle and the PD committee. They do extensive research and discussions with staff to determine what needs are of our staff, in terms of course content, the efficacy of instructional practice, pedagogical skills. And so, this is a list. This is about a 4-page list of professional development opportunities for all staff in literacy, math, science, special education, the fine and performing arts. Everyone was included here with a very, very busy and active day of professional development. It's not a day off for our staff. They work very, very hard, and they are very well prepared when they end that Professional Development Day. And I thank Amy Doyle and the Professional Development Committee for doing such an outstanding job. Well, we've come to the end of this particular session. Always enjoyable to give you an update. Going forward for the remainder of the year, I'll have some guests that I'd like you to meet, and we'll talk through people who make things go in our school district, people who sometimes you don't know who work here, and try to get them on to tell you what they do and what function they perform. Because everyone matters in this school district. Everyone counts in terms of the development of a child, whether it's a preschool child or a grade 12 student. This is Bill Olson. I always enjoy talking with you, and I'll see you next time.